Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about defect lifecycle in our software testing process. So let's start. So before going to the defect lifecycle, let's understand about what are bugs and what are bug types. So specifically, bugs can be divided into three parts. Okay. So error, defects, and failures. So all of these depict some deviation from actual results, but they are being referred in different stages where the defects are found or where the bugs are found. The first is error. So error is something which a developer finds when there is a mismatch in expected and actual behavior, and this is basically referring to our code errors that they get while executing their unit test cases or their debugging part. Okay. Now comes the defect. What is a defect? Defect is any bug that testers find in their QA environment or the testing bed when they are actually testing the application. And what a failure is? Failure is a customer end users, when they find any mismatch or they find some deviation from the requirement, then they are called as a failures or faults in a system. So these are the bug types that we have. Now we come out to where and how these bugs are logged. In which cases we say that these are the defects or these are the bugs. So we will mainly focus on our defect, that is the defects or the bugs that are found on testing environment. So first would be missing requirements. So as name suggests, missing requirements mean any requirement that is missed while development and it is not as expected. It is not giving the as expected result in our output. Okay, so this is simple. Missing requirement, anything that is written in story, that is written in FRD, that is not being implemented in the build. Next comes the incorrectly working requirements. Now what does this mean? This means there is a deviation from the requirement which is built, which is actually coded, but what the output should be, that is not correct. So there can be many reasons, many reasons for this incorrect requirement. First is there may be some misunderstanding on the requirements, either on development side or on tester side. That's why we are getting some deviation. Or what can be, there can be some different database logic that has been implemented to get the result output. So if we are not getting the result as expected, then also it is a defect. Next come extra requirements. Now what are extra requirements and how extra requirements can be a defect? So extra requirements means anything that is not mentioned in the requirement, but as a team you have provided in application. That may be some text, there may be some extra pop-ups, there may be some extra messages. So these requirements are also logged as a defect because it is not approved or it is not in consent with client. So it may or may not add up to their utility or their feature requirement. So we as a tester, we have to log those defects also, and later on it can be turned into a story or it can be turned into feature, and we have to work on it. Next come the reference document inconsistency. What is a reference document inconsistency? It means the document that we are referring to test, okay, they are not matching the result that we are getting. So that are document related issues. And the final one goes into environment related issue. Those can be, there is a mismatch of the actual and expected output because there is a change in environment. So you can say if we are testing on QA environment, that is giving a different result on staging or on UA environment, the UA testing bed, there we are getting some different output. So these are because of some environment related issue. So those can also be added as a defect. Now we'll see what a defect life cycle is. So what do you understand by defect life cycle? It is basically the different status and different you can say. Now we will see what a defect life cycle is. Defect life cycle is a flow where we can see where the defects go throughout its journey. That is when we have opened the defect till we close that defect. So there can be many status in between. So we will discuss those. So the first status is the new status, where as a tester, when we define a bug, we log a bug, it is created as a new defect. Then it is assigned to a developer lead or a developer to get that fixed. Now developer opens it, means he starts working on it, and after opening and analyzing the defect, there could be different output to that. Like first, he simply open it and it's a valid defect, he will fix it. So it will go to fix status. Or what he can do, he can open it and see, okay, this is a duplicate error and I'm already working on a defect that is the same on the same issue. So he will mark it as a duplicate. Or what he can do, he will see the defect and say, no, this is not the requirement. What I have created or what we have built is correct. So he will reject the defect. Then it can be data issue. That means the functionality is okay. The only thing is, because of some data, this result is not correct, and that's why this is a bug. But that actually the data is correct, and he will mark as a data issue. And then also it can happen that, okay, that was a valid defect, but as a developer, we have some more priority defects to work on, and I will defer this. I will work it on later time. Okay, so he will mark it as a defer. So all these status will be closed finally by the tester. Now comes when he fixes a valid bug. What he will do, he will put that particular defect into ready to retest status and assign it to tester. And what now tester will do? Tester will retest it, take the screenshot of the past case and then put it into closed status. Or what he can do, if that is not working what he expected, then he will reopen the bug and again assign it to the developer. Now developer will again go through that particular dev and again the process will flow. So this is what a peculiar QA defect lifecycle looks like. And most of the tool follow the same flow, but there can be some changes according to the tool or company or different status that they have included in their own tool for their team. So there can also be some terminologies, like sometimes it's not open, it is in progress, right? So but main functionality or main idea of this defect workflow will remain same.